Hi lovelies, and welcome back to today's Read the Room, which is for One Direction. Now someone suggested this and I thought, yes, that would be an amazing, incredible reading, and I'm really excited to actually get into the guys' energy today. So if you do enjoy this reading, please do hit a lovely thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to join our lovely community if you haven't already. If you would like to book a personal and private reading with me, I am currently booked and sold out. But you can check my website, which is www.kirstilewis.com, to see if more bookings do become available, which they will. And yeah, let's get into reading for One Direction. I want to get straight into the energy today. So we have Niall Horan, who was born on the 13th of September 93, and he is 27 years old. Payne, who is 27 and born on the 29th of August 93. First of all, I didn't realise they were still so young. I thought they were a few years older. I mean, some of them are, but I did not realise that, you know, like Harry Styles is 27. I had no idea. So Harry Styles was born on the 1st of February 94, he's 27, an Aquarius. I was not at all surprised. I didn't know Harry Styles was an Aquarius, but when I looked I was like, oh, what other sign would Harry Styles be? Tomlinson was born on the 24th of December 91, he's 29. And Zayn Malik was born on the 12th of January 1993, and he is 28. We are starting with Niall Horan. Now, as I began to connect with Niall Horan and I saw his bright blue eyes, I just saw so much water. He actually has like quite watery energy, very emotional, very sensitive, very deep. But one of the first things I put down here about him was that he's a sensitive and emotional soul, and because of that, women are very drawn to him. Women like him. He makes women feel very safe. I feel like Niall Horan probably has a lot of friends that are girls. He has quite a soft masculine energy. Like, it's not feminine, it's soft masculine. His energy is very softly masculine. Like, he is a protector, he is a provider, but he does so in a very soft way. He has a deep love for music. Niall Horan has a deep passion for music. Like, he loves music. I would say out of all of the boys here, he loves music the most. Like, whether X Factor hadn't have worked out, I feel like he would have found a way to be in the music industry because he has a pure passion for music, whereas the others I feel like have just kind of gone off the back of, you know, once you're in One Direction you can't do anything else, you're gonna have to continue in music or being a celebrity, whereas I feel like Niall Horan would have found a way to do some kind of music or something because he has a passion not just for music. I think I did put, yeah, he has a passion for the arts in general. Now Harry Styles, will go on to him, but he also has this love for self-expression, but his is in more of a colourful way, whereas Niall Horan's is in more of a subtle and soft way. But Niall Horan has a love for the arts, theatre, painting, acting, and I feel like I did put here, I do see him going into acting as well. He has had a lot of short-lived relationships, I feel, because he's quite a deep soul. His emotions run very deep. He has a lot to say, a lot to offer. He's very wise, and therefore he finds it quite difficult to open up and to commit. And so because of that, because he does care for emotions and feelings so much, I feel like when he gets very close to someone, he backs away because it's like a fear of they're not going to be able to carry him and they're not going to be able to understand him, and you know, it's like a safety thing. Like, a lot of people seek safety in him, but I feel like he finds it hard to seek safety in others. But when he does commit to someone, it will be forever. I've got here that he will marry a lady. I saw her with like blondish hair, so like browny blonde hair. She had like quite an athletic build. I put here she may even play sports herself. She might be a sportswoman, and he will have 2 children in future. I feel he will get into acting and films and some possible involvement in a soundtrack. Because like I said, he has a deep love for the arts. This isn't just I was in One Direction and I'm just going to piggyback off of that. Like, Niall Horan has a deep love for music, and I can actually hear that in his music. His music is very Ed Sheeran-esque. It reminds me a lot of Ed Sheeran. Kombucha break. I'm trying kombucha. It's really weird, but I feel like it's better for me than fizzy drinks. So anyway, let me know what your views on kombucha is if you've tried it. The taste is growing on me. It's a very strange, different taste, but we move. So yeah, I do see him working within the kind of arts industry forever, and he may even actually get an on-stage role. I do see him getting some kind of acting role, but I am drawn more to theatre than the screen with him. Like, his acting is more drawn to theatre-esque than it is to like movie-esque. I also put down here a collaboration with a female artist of colour from the US. He's quite a private soul and he keeps himself to himself, and I feel like if you're lucky enough, he's one of those people that, you know, you have to get very close to in order for him to really open up and shine. And as I connect with that, Spirit do make me feel that in the group he did feel very overlooked. I feel like a lot of the time he felt like he was just like an extra side add-on to the other guys. He felt a lot in the shadows, and I feel like it kind of caused him, actually being in the group, to go into himself. And that's the one thing I will say about all of these men, is that being in that band did change them. I feel like if they hadn't been in that band, which is understandable and obvious, if they hadn't have been in that band, they would all be very different people. Being in that band and the literally mass hysteria around One Direction, you know, that they said they hadn't seen, like, they being the media, said they hadn't seen since like the Beatles, you know, it was literally insane. Like, girls loved them. I feel like for some reason, I don't know why, but Niall Horan felt a little bit left out and in the shadows of that. And so I feel like going solo is actually, for him, it feels like he's kind of come home to himself, and it feels like the best thing that could have ever actually happened to him. For him, I don't feel like the split of the band was actually that devastating. I was surprised to see he's a Virgo, because Virgos are known for being a little bit uptight, and I say that with love. I am a Virgo rising. But he doesn't actually have a lot of Virgo energy. The one thing I would say is the typical stereotypical thing for a Virgo is that he is quite a perfectionist. So anything he does, it needs to be done to perfection, and he definitely has that within him. He's got links to sports, and I put here that he may invest in like a sports team, or his future wife may actually be an athlete and play sports, or her family are linked to sports. So, because when I see his wife, she has like a really slim, athletic physique, this woman that he's going to be with. So yeah, he's got a really lovely energy, Niall Horan, and he just feels like a very gentle, soft soul. So we're moving on to Liam Payne. As I said, Liam Payne was born on the 29th of August 93, and he is 27 years old. That makes him also a Virgo. And what I will say is we had 2 Virgos, 2 Capricorns and 1 Aquarius. So this was a really diverse group of people. Like, these are very individual guys. They are all completely different in character, completely. And that's the one thing that really surprised me. I actually expected them to be quite similar in character when I tapped into their energy, but they're all very, very different. Liam Payne, I feel as I tap into his energy, he can be a little bit misunderstood, and he comes across as being quite moody, and he can come across quite blunt and careless. And I feel like it's because he holds people very much at arm's length. He has his guard very much up. He's very defensive. And again, it can take a long time for those walls to come down. I feel like that's probably the same with all of them, bar one, because of the fame that they experience so rapidly overnight. He has an issue showing up as himself. Again, there's this fear of being seen for who I am, this protection, this real need to want to protect myself. I would say there was elements of this overnight fame that actually traumatized Liam Payne a little bit, because there is this whole energy of wanting to protect myself, wanting to put this wall up around me and not let anyone really in, and if I let you in and you do one thing wrong, that's it, I'm pushing you out and I'm closing the door. And there is really that energy around him, and I did put here, yeah, he doesn't let people in easily, and he finds it hard to trust people, so he doesn't show his true self. Because of that, I would say out of all 5 of these guys, he was the hardest to tap into. Even to try and get into his energy is very closed off. He's a person who I feel lives very externally rather than intuitively, so he likes attention, he likes to be surrounded by people who uplift him. He's quite an insecure person, I feel, and that's why he looks for external validation, because Again, this comes from being in a group and being compared to other guys, I feel, and there's an insecurity of not being good enough. And I feel like each one of them, like I said, has been infected by being in One Direction, and I feel like this is the way he was affected. So it's this feeling of not being able to trust people, not knowing who I am, not feeling certain in myself, not feeling sure of myself, and because of that he does seek this external validation. But I feel like Liam Payne probably spends a lot of money to try and make himself feel better, on objects and designer things to try and fulfill himself. He doesn't get close to women very easily because again, there's a protection and a safety thing, and when they do get too close he pushes them away. He's a very black and white person in terms of decision and direction he takes, so he's very like, it's yes or no, it is what it is. And again, that has come from protection of himself. I would say he, out of all of the guys, has become the most closed off and guarded from being in One Direction. I would say he probably wasn't so much like this at the beginning of the group. I actually feel he was probably a lot more sensitive and emotional before he got into the group, and being in the group hardened him and caused him to become very protective of himself. In his eyes, things either work or they don't, and because of that, I put here, he finds it very easy to cut people off. And I feel like he likes music, but it's not a passion. Do you know what I mean? It's not a passion for him, and I feel like he doesn't quite know what his passion is. I put here that a baby girl is coming for him. I do see a second child for him. I don't feel like he will have any more children than 2 children. And I see 2 marriages for Liam Payne. 3 serious relationships I've got in brackets, but 2 marriages. So I feel like he will get married. It might last a long time, actually, the first marriage, and then it ends and then he gets married again. But I see 3 serious relationships. When he does find himself, I'm hearing design. So I feel like with his kind of like black and white, he can see things quite clearly. And so he may be interested in design, but I don't necessarily feel like that's specifically for clothing or anything like that. I just hear design with him, and like he has a good eye for things and a good attention to detail. He can come across self-centered. He doesn't let people in easily, and he finds it hard to trust people, so he doesn't let his true self show. And I feel like he's got his kind of journey in this life, Liam Payne, is to find and show up as his true authentic self, because I feel like he tries to kind of fit into boxes to get validation from other people. So when he does something, it isn't so much about that inner fulfillment for him. It's more like, what other people are going to say? You know, he's the kind of person that when he puts out music, he's like, what do the reviews say? And he's rushing to see what people said about him. And Spirit would kind of just encourage him to go inside and kind of seek that validation in himself. Okay, next we have Harry Styles, who I'm sure a lot of you probably wanted to know the most about. So Harry Styles was born on the 1st of February 94. He's 27 and he is an Aquarius. Now, he is definitely the bright, colourful one, and I think we can all see that. That's not something that you really need an energy reading to tell. You can just tell he's like vibrant, and that's the kind of person he is. But as I tapped into his energy, one of the first things that came up for Harry Styles is his freedom, especially freedom of expression. So anyone who tells him he can't talk a certain way, he can't dress a certain way, he can't act a certain way, he will legitimately rebel. And that is such an Aquarian trait. Now, this is a sign that I just became fascinated with. If you remember correctly, I did a series of readings. I think it was like Brandy and then someone else, and they were all Aquariuses, and I was like, oh my goodness, and I just love their energy. They have this mysterious energy about them that I just am so drawn to, because I love anything mysterious and I just love it. And they are so present in themselves, but yet so like have this air of mystery about them, and I love it. Extreme extrovertedness. Is that a word? Extrovertedness? Extrovert energy. Despite his extreme extrovert energy, he actually is very down to earth and humble. And the one thing I truly picked up on for Harry Styles, which was so beautiful, he actually has such a beautiful energy, is that he has this deep depth of gratitude. I feel like this is a man who wakes up every day with deep thanks and gratitude for where he is in his life. And he is very thankful and very grateful, and he's very humble. You know, he comes across very flamboyant, but he's actually a very humble and down-to-earth person. And Spirit tell me that he loves like the pleasures in life. He's very sensual. He loves treating himself and feeling good, and that is why he is so grateful for where he is, because he understands that to have those luxuries in life that he loves so much, he has to have his fans and celebrity and fame, and so he doesn't take any inch of it for granted. He really is a deeply grateful person, and he's got a really lovely energy. I actually put that he has an abundant energy. He has an energy where he will walk in a room and leave you feeling uplifted. I don't know what his concerts are like, but I feel like he tries to make it as bright and as vibrant and as light and as uplifting as possible, so that when you leave that concert, you leave feeling uplifted. He wants to share. He's very generous. He's a very generous person. He wants to share his abundance and share his gratitude, and so he pours his all into his music, and he makes it as upbeat. He's a very positive, upbeat person, and he really wants to, the one thing I feel with Harry Styles is he wants to give that to others. He wants other people to feel the same way he does. He's not stingy or selfish or wanting to keep everything to himself. Actually, he's very open. He's a very open book. Very spontaneous, and he's very trusting in the rhythm of flow of life. I would say out of all of these guys, Harry Styles is probably the one who's a magical manifester, who trusts in the universe, very spiritual, very into meditation and being in touch with himself and being in flow with life. He really has that energy. It's really lovely. It came through and said he will be the one that instigates a One Direction reunion, because I do pick up on a reunion for them, and they gave me between the years of 2025 and 2027 instigate a reunion. I feel like he's definitely, this is a man who is up for anything, so he appreciates and understands the benefits for both One Direction and for the fans that a reunion would be, and he is just up for really celebrating life. Like, that's just the one thing I feel from Harry Styles. He's got a really celebratory energy. He's quite sensual. He enjoys the pleasures of life. He likes good, really indulges in that, but not in the way, like, not in a greedy way, in like a, he really just takes every moment for what it is, and yeah, he has this abundant energy because he's so grateful. Even smell like a fragrance coming from Harry Styles, and maybe a collaboration with a designer label for this fragrance, because like I said, he is sensual. He likes good smells and things that touch and feel good and taste good and look good. So I do see like a perfume which is unisex. I specifically put here it would be a unisex fragrance coming from Harry Styles. I don't know whether he's done that already. I don't actually follow any of the guys, so I don't know, but I do see and smell it smells really like florally. Maybe that's the kombucha. I don't know, but yeah, I can smell that for him. And as they talked about unisex, they did say that he is fluid. I don't know if Harry Styles has come out and said he's bisexual. I feel like he might have, but I definitely pick up that he is. And he's in no rush to settle down. Like I said, he's very trusting in the rhythm of life. He's very comfortable in his own skin. He won't settle down until he's much older. I feel like I picked up on that before in a question Q&A reading. And I can see a long-term relationship with a man for him, but he will marry a woman. The person that he actually marries is a woman, but I do see him actually being with maybe like an on-again, off-again relationship with a man. But he will have kids later on in life. I feel like I picked that up, like he'll be an older dad. Like compared to the rest of the guys, I feel like the rest of them will have children quite young. I mean, some of them already do have children, but he will be an older dad because he's not in no rush at all to have kids or settle down. He is literally living and loving life. Like, live your best life is Harry Styles. I think I kind of picked up on for him is that he is going to start his own foundation or charity, because like I said, a generous soul. He's got a very generous spirit. He likes to give back and he loves to see other people happy. And so I don't know whether he's set it up already or whether it's coming, but I do see a foundation or charity going forward for Harry Styles. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is something to do with like mental health and people showing up as themselves and being themselves or something like that. But yeah, beautiful energy. I actually loved Harry Styles' energy. So yeah. So next, going on to Louis Tomlinson. Louis Tomlinson was born on the 24th of December 1991, and he is 29 years old, making him a Capricorn, and he does hold Capricorn energy. He's got a very earthly grounded energy. He's very grounded actually, and I feel like he's a real family man. Obviously sadly Louis Tomlinson did lose his mother and his sister, both very tragically close together, so he understandably has a lot of sorrow, and it is sorrow, that's the one word I could use to describe. It's almost like spirits show me like half of him, you know, he's still obviously healing. This would mean, you know, half of him is very sorrowful and the other half is trying to proceed with life, because he has got, you know, a girlfriend and is it a son? I don't know if it's a son or a daughter. He's got a child. So, you know, he has still got to be present in their lives and heal at the same time. So, you know, that is something that he will carry with him forever. And that's something that even through a lot of healing is still going to be very in the depths of his soul. But I feel like he is lucky to have a support system, and that's very important to him, that he has a support system. He is a person that needs people around him. He is a person that loves people, like loves the people he loves, and he loves his family. So yeah, it is good that he does have that stability in his girlfriend and obviously his child. Now I feel like actually Louis Tomlinson will be the first of One Direction to get married, and I did pick up on a marriage coming very soon for him. And very soon, Spirit did say 3 to 5 years, but I do pick up on a marriage coming for him because the ring finger was literally burning. He may actually already be engaged. Understandably, he has a lot of sadness in his energy. I've already explained that, but I also picked up, I don't know whether he's got a son. Actually, I think it is a boy. The reason I say this, when I picked up on children for Louis Tomlinson, I picked up on 3, but Spirit wanted to kind of separate the sons. The son's already here, and I feel like he's got 2 more daughters to come, so I feel like the next 2 children will be girls. He's almost in this like limbo because he is well, but understandably he's still healing, and I feel like he'll be healing forever. This is not something you get over, and so I feel like he recognised that, and he has kind of removed himself and given himself some time out. There is a lot on his heart, and you know, again, understandable, and because of that I don't see a lot of movement out of all of them. For him, he's the one that's most stagnant at the moment because he's trying to just process a lot of what he's been through. I feel like he is in therapy. A lot of them have a lot of exciting business ventures, and they're still making music and things like that, whereas I feel like Louis Tomlinson has given himself time to retreat and given himself a little bit of time out. But I did also feel for him that he's transitioning also, and how old is he? 29, so he's coming to the end of his Saturn return, which don't go into that, I don't know a ton about it, but I know it's a big transitional period. I'm also going through my Saturn return as well. So he is at a stage now where like things are shifting, and I also feel with Louis Tomlinson that part of him wants to leave music behind, because I would say out of all of them, he also is the one that doesn't really have a true passion for music. It's not a true passion at all. He's probably the one out of them, out of all 5 of them, that would, you know, likes it the least. And I feel like he's so brainy, and he's quite smart, and he's made smart investments with money, that he feels like he's going to kind of move towards more business. I actually feel like houses and real estate and development with Louis Tomlinson, and he's looking at where he can put his money and invest his money, because he is a family man. He wants his children to have generational wealth, and so he is really about building that and building on his money. You know, he's a Capricorn at the end of the day. You know, he wants security. That's very important to him. And I put here that he's probably the one that has least interest out of all of them in being in the spotlight, and I really do feel that for him. He's like the least interested. He couldn't care less about being famous or in the spotlight or anything like that. Complete contrast to Harry Styles. Like, he could not care less about it. He will basically, I feel, still have involvement in music, I've put, but will be far and few between. So like, he might release projects and then disappear, like a bit like Adele. You know, he's not interested in the fame side of things. He will do it for the money, because he's a Capricorn and he likes to work and he likes to make money, and he's very business orientated. And so for him, it's more like a business side of things rather than a passion. And he will be more behind the scenes in terms of things. Like I feel like he might do a lot of behind the scenes work and work with other artists and develop them and give business career advice for other artists and do that kind of thing, because he is quite a logical and analytical person. He does have the whys and the smarts to be able to do that. And I feel like he is just more business minded than creative. Not to say he isn't creative, but I just feel like he's more business minded than creative. So he's in a bit of a transition now where it's like, well, where do I go from here? Like, what does my future look like? And I feel like he's just keeping himself still until he knows how to move again. I don't feel like it's the last we'll ever hear from music from Louis Tomlinson. I feel like he will release music, but it'll be quite sparse. It won't be like the only thing he's doing, because he is, you know, wanting to have his hands in other things and have his money in other things for future security. Where Harry Styles is more like, let's see where life takes me, let's just go with the flow. Louis Tomlinson's more like, I need a plan, I need a strategy, I need a process, I need to know what's going to happen today, tomorrow. And that would be fair to say that, because he's had a lot of shocks in his life thus far, and so again, you know, to protect himself, he wants to have plans in place, and I feel like that's obviously an effect of the losses that he's experienced. But there's not too much to say on Louis Tomlinson, simply because he is transitioning, and so a lot's still being decided for him, and he's still deciding a lot for himself. I would just say out of all of them, he's not making that many movements. He's keeping himself very still, and I say he's spending a lot of time with his family. Okay, and last but not least, we have Zayn Malik. And Zayn was born on the 12th of January 93, making him a Capricorn. So one of the very first things I picked up for Zayn was that he's actually creating something new. He's in the process of creation. Now, I know that he just released an album in 2021, but I did pick up on more new music coming in 2022, so maybe actually he's going to take that album and go on tour. He's got a new project coming, something to do with music, focused in 2022. Zayn Malik is also a very private person, and it's really interesting as I dived into these energies of these guys, because like I say, they are all very different. All very different. And Zayn Malik is very much a closed book, and I feel like even in the group he was very, very quiet, reserved, kept himself to himself, wasn't really there to make friends. I mean, don't get me wrong, they definitely had a bond and they definitely got on with each other, but I would say out of all of them, he was probably the one that, even in the group, kept himself separate and kept, you know, he didn't share like personal things with the guys. He would go through things very much alone, and he would be very much like a loner. And I would say that for Zayn Malik, he likes his alone time, he likes to be alone, he likes his space. Even in his relationship, he likes his space. He has you know, clear boundaries in terms of when it's his time and when he's doing his own thing and when he wants to be alone. Yeah, so he's a closed book. He only lets people see what he wants them to. He's like a chameleon, and I definitely feel that with him. Like, he's the kind of person who can be in different situations and adapt. So if he's around people that like sports, he can adapt to kind of be in that circle. And if he's around people that are musicians, he can adapt and be in that circle. He is definitely a chameleon, and you know, only I would say very few people, maybe like a handful of people really know the true Zayn Malik, and that's purposeful on his part. He's like the Victoria Beckham of the group I put down here, because he definitely, I feel like, wants to completely cut himself from One Direction as if like he was never a part of it, and I do feel that he may reject the reunion. So when the option to reunite and do like a tour or something does come around, he might be the one that kind of says no. I don't want to do that. Now, if you've got this far, please do leave below your favourite One Direction song. My favourite One Direction song is Kiss You. He may be the one that says no, I'm not being involved in the reunion. I mean, he may come out and do like a few shows with them, but other than that, like I say, he has no kind of desire or interest to be with the band again. This is a guy I put here that loves clothes. He loves clothes, and he's also interested in design, and he loves how he can express himself through clothing, and I feel like this is something him and Gigi really bonded over. I feel like they probably have massive wardrobes in their houses. I feel like they probably could spend a lot of time talking about designing clothes, and he's very interested in what she's wearing, and he loves clothes. I just picked it up, and I feel like because of that, I picked up on, I actually wrote it down as sneakers, which is very interesting, which makes me feel like they may only be launched in the US, because over here we call them trainers, not sneakers, but I actually picked them up as sneakers. So I feel like he might have a sneaker line coming in collaboration with a sports brand. But also I was drawn to his wrist and watches. So this guy, I'm being serious, he loves clothing. Clothing, accessories, jackets, clothes. I just see him having a lot of clothes. He loves clothing. I also picked up, interestingly, that like some kind of collaboration with Justin Bieber. Now this might not be music, this might be like writing for Justin, or Justin writing for him, or them doing some kind of clothing collab again, like, but just some kind of collab with Justin Bieber. I definitely picked up Justin Bieber in his energy. And Spirit wanted to move on to Gigi and say that, you know, Gigi is very much his safe place. Zayn feels very, and I feel like this isn't from the band actually, I feel like this is from his childhood. For some reason there was some kind of trauma with Zayn Malik where he, again, doesn't feel safe to open up and express his emotion. He is a Capricorn. Capricorns are very, very, very private, even in like relationships. They are just incredibly private people, and so, you know, he doesn't feel very easily that he opens up, which is why he does enjoy his own space. But the sweetest thing, honestly, when I looked at a picture of Gigi and him together, and I just felt this really lovely energy. They've got such a beautiful union, and they're very yin and yang, like they balance each other out very well. Like she's very soft and light, and I don't know what star sign Gigi is. I don't know if Gigi is a Taurus. I'm not sure. I feel like she is a Taurus, in which case that would make sense. You know, those two earth signs that are the same but very different. And, you know, if she is a Taurus, I myself am with a Capricorn and I'm a Taurus, so I understand that beautiful balance that you have. But together they have such a lovely union. It's really, really, like, I want to call it like darling. Like, it's really delicate and special and lovely, and the way they treat each other and show up for each other is really beautiful. And they have this like understanding, this like bond, this understanding between each other, like I've got your back and you've got mine, and that's how it is. They're two very, very loyal to each other. I put that he will love Gigi. He really loves Gigi. I put that he will marry Gigi, but he's in no rush. So he is that slow earth sign. He's in no rush to get married. He knows that this is for the long haul. He's in no kind of dire straits to do this commitment. He will slowly take his time with that. But I did put that she offers him softness, which he needs, because he has quite a hard energy at times and he can be quite cold, and she offers that like softness to him. So like I said, they are that yin and yang. They have this lovely balance together. I put before becoming a father he was quite selfish, but fatherhood in itself has definitely softened him and has opened up his heart a little bit. You know, he doesn't so much have this icebox where his heart used to be. It's kind of cracked into him a little bit, which is lovely. And I put that he will have a son, but I'm not sure whether this is with Gigi, which is really weird because I picked up this like energy, like is it with her or is it not? But it's much later on in life. So well, not much later on. I'm picking up like 30s, 40s, so it's a bit later on in life. There is a son I do feel that he will have. And yeah, like lastly, like I just said, he loves clothes, and it's something him and Gigi bond over, and something he is working on in terms of clothing. If you enjoyed this reading, again, like I said, please do leave your favourite One Direction song down in the comments below. If you did enjoy it, please do hit a lovely thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Or like a personal and private reading with me, keep an eye on my website www.kirstylewis.com to see when availability does come up, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye lovelies!